we come into the world naked, but then we get told to put it all away and that we need to be ashamed of what's underneath. We're picked to pieces and we believe that we're never good enough. So the more clothes and the more layers that we put on, the better.
I'm super excited to introduce you to Amy Donovan. She does boudoir photography. It's just so exciting for me to talk to someone who takes pictures of women. Today, we're going to be talking about how our self-love relates to how authentic we are in our photos, and also how can we embrace the beauty of our bodies, and how can we be confident in whatever happening for us as women. Our bodies are changing all the time, especially after 40. And today, Amy is going to talk to us actually, how can we stay confident, empowered, and still see the beauty of our physical body? Welcome, Amy. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I love the talk, the name of the talk that you suggested, The Power of Authenticity in a Filtered World. And first of all, if we can start, could you tell just a little bit about yourself, how you came to do this, and what excites you about your work?
Absolutely. So I have been a photographer for over 20 years. I studied journalism in university, but I don't like sad things. I'm an empath and I carry them with me. So I needed to let that go. And I started doing portrait and wedding photography. And after I'd done it for several years, I had a regular family portrait client who said, "Could you take boudoir photos of me and my husband?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do that." And so I actually didn't know what boudoir photos were. And I went home and I Googled it. And I was like, oh.
That's funny.
And so I was like, I can do anything I put my mind to. I can do this. And I did. And I felt so good after. And the lady felt so good after that I don't really photograph men anymore. And couples are not my thing, but I loved how it made her feel. So at the time, I recruited another friend and I was like, listen, I think I love this. I need you to help me. And so she posed for me and she felt incredible after. And I was like, okay, I'm onto something. And at the time, Boudoir wasn't really, social media was new. Like everybody was just getting their websites. So it wasn't something that was like uber popular. And I was living on the other side of the country from where I grew up. And I came back here. I live here again now. And I came back here and I was like, I'm going to do these sessions. And everybody was like, you're going to, what? Women in their underwear? Oh my goodness. Like, this is like, oh, like scandal. And I was like, no, like, do it and you'll feel so good. And I did. And I really don't advertise a whole ton. I don't have a huge social media following, but women share things that are powerful to them. We grew up as a nation of women forever sharing recipes and sharing like hair tips and tricks. And now people talk about how these photos make them feel and how they feel so much better. So if I do photos for one person, they're going to tell their friends and they all come. And it's not about what the photos look like in the end, because they're beautiful, but it's how they feel and they feel about themselves after the sessions. And I think that's really what makes it powerful.
So what do you feel like? What is the change? Like if you take one woman, say, right, as an example, what is the change when she comes in and what do you see? What actually happens during the session?
So okay, so when people come in, they're shaking, like they're trembling. I have a lot of repeat clients, so they're not quite as trembly when they start.
So why is
But
it?
the
We
first,
start with that. Like when they're trembling, what actually happening for a woman?
they're so nervous about being seen and having the focus on them. And most of them you can wear whatever you want to wear. You can wear a sweatshirt and jeans, but most people come in lingerie or bras and underwear, or they do like semi nudes. I don't do full nude, but they've never been photographed like that before. And we come into the world naked, but then somehow we get told to put it all away and that we need to be ashamed of what's underneath. And we're picked to pieces and we believe that we're never good enough. So, like, the more clothes and the more layers that we put on, the better. And then they're coming into a situation that they've signed up for and they've paid for, but they're literally going to strip away all the layers and actually be seen and documented just like they are. And they're really nervous about it.
Because it's quite fascinating because something brought you there, right? It's like, because what I hear, right, and that's what I see in women, now there's so much shame and there's so much I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not slim enough. And that's the trembling. But then something brought her here, because what I also see, like in women, there is this, we want to hide, and then there is this deep yearning to be seen.
Absolutely. It's amazing how many people that they come in trembling, and then when their photos are done at the end, they're like, I can't wait to show. And it's always somebody different. So there's people who allow me to share on social media, not a whole lot because of their employers or their partners or whatever, but they can't wait for people to see them when they're done. And it's this huge dramatic shift from I'm so scared to do this to these words come up all the time. I didn't realize I look like this.
Ah,
And so they start to calm down when they're in hair and makeup. When they get their hair and makeup done, it's not like we're transforming them. There's no big makeover, there's no big change. They just look like the best version of themselves. And it's more about the pampering than the actual makeup itself. I personally only use 5 makeup products. It's all I own. And my makeup artist doesn't wear any makeup when she comes to sessions at all, because really this isn't about the makeup. This is about just liking yourself. So we get them ready, and the whole hair and makeup process, yes, you're having your hair and makeup done, but it is more about connecting and getting to know what that person feels about themselves. And we don't ask those questions directly. It's like a whole conversation that takes place. We get to learn about their lives and where they grew up and what's their family like and what does daily life look like for them.
I
And
love
through
it.
that, yeah, everything just comes out. And sometimes I always say, I am not qualified. I'm an amazing photographer, but women have trauma in their lives. And when we get them into a place where they're ready to trust us, and it's just her and I and the camera in the room, like things come up and things come out. And I really learn why people feel the way that they do about themselves.
Yeah,
Like,
so
who,
I've just read the research because I'm really into all the research stuff on female sexuality and body confidence. And what it said is that actually the grooming part is like how monkeys when they groom each other, and actually relaxes us. It's actually so good for us. So that's what you really speak to, right? It's not about putting something on us that changes our appearance completely, but actually that process of slowing down, of paying attention, and someone paying attention to you. Because right when you
absolutely.
pick up or for hairdo, like you really have to be present with this woman. And I think that's what relaxes, and it brings us into a different state, a more relaxed state.
Well, even think about when you go to get your hair done and you're sitting in the salon. I bet your hairstylist knows more about you than most of your friends do, because as you're just there and it's just the two of you, even if there's other people in the space, you guys have that relationship and you're just talking and sharing. And that's what happens at the beginning of the sessions.
Yeah.
And it allows me to like connect and have them relax and share and just put them in a space where they feel comfortable and confident, and they allow me to have them move their bodies or fix their outfits or whatever needs happening. It puts them into a space where they can trust me, and that's what's most important. I can take amazing pictures, but connecting with the clients is absolutely what needs to happen first.
Mm. And so what do you see then? What is that shift from the trembling state, right? They trust in you, but how do I actually go into that place that actually I like what I see? How does that happen, that transition?
I think as they're moving from position to position and they're moving from outfit to outfit, and I think as that's happening, they just feel strong and they feel confident, and they know that they look good, because I turn the camera around and I'm like, look how amazing you look right now. And people aren't used to being photographed like that. They're used to their husbands taking pictures that are down below their chin and they're super anxious about it. And just occasionally we get a good selfie. But when there's somebody actually guiding you into a pose that looks amazing versus the straight on shot of you on the couch, we all tilt our cameras, we all do the things. But when someone who knows what they're doing is doing that for you, and you can trust that you look good, then you start feeling good as you're doing it.
And then are they able, like, what do you find, like, afterwards, are they able to actually take that into their life? Like, what effect does it have on their lives? And you're smiling.
I'm thinking of my friend Allison. I'm going to name her specifically. I actually interviewed her prior to her session
Yeah.
when she came for her photos. And she had made up her mind that she was going to do it. She was really excited. She was probably not trembly. She was just a bit nervous. But I interviewed her and she is very, I love her. She's just passive. And she'd had a run of not amazing relationships, and like that had really played on her mind, and she just needed to really connect herself with how amazing she really is. Like she had just lost that along the way. So we did the photos, and at the end I interviewed her again, and she was glowing. It was like two different women in those videos, and she was like, I feel like a goddess. And I
Really?
had
Oh.
never had anybody use those words before, and I was like, what? Like, wow. Because I love that I get to make other people feel good. It might be a little bit selfish. I don't know what the word is, but when people feel that way and I get to give that to them, it makes me feel so good. So, um, yeah, it was amazing. And so I see her regularly, and I know that she carries herself differently now than she did. And she has made choices, good, positive choices that she wouldn't have made before. And she feels more empowered to do that. So,
This is
I
so
don't know.
beautiful. It's like when you see the beauty, right, in another woman, and then you reflect it in the photos, huh? Like when I do my work, I reflect it through words and feeling, but you reflect it in photos. And when they look at the photos, huh, and they start to feel really good about themselves, then they almost like it resets. That's what my value is, huh? Yeah. And then they raise their standards. Like this
Absolutely.
is what I require, right? I'm not willing to settle for less.
Yeah, it's just watching them transform like that is amazing. And I have people come to me for all different reasons. So some people come from themselves, some people come because they've lost a significant amount of weight and they can't see themselves in their new body. They're trying to like match that up. They
Mhm.
only see their old self. And then when I show them their pictures, they're like, I don't look like that. And I'm like, well, I didn't open Photoshop. So yes, you do. Like, this is what you look like. I
So
have a
talking
woman,
to be a bit of like body dysmorphia when you have that image
yeah.
how you are and actually you don't see your real self, huh?
And it goes both ways because I get people who come because they've gained a significant amount of weight and they're like, one, some people gain weight and they love it. I'm so happy for those people. As an overweight, chubby child, I always felt like I wasn't good enough or something needed to change. And so now, as a 43-year-old woman, I'm like, I'm just fine as I am. I am on a health journey because my blood sugar and all the things that we need to take care of once we hit 40. But when people come in and they all have a different reason. So they come in because they've gained weight, they come in because they've lost weight. Some women come in because they're about to have a mastectomy. Some people come because they've had them and they want to embrace their new body. I do have clients who come because they want to give the gifts, give the photos as gifts. And that happens a lot during Christmas. But before I book them and before I take the pictures, I always make them promise that the photos are for them first and that they can actually physically give the photos as a gift, but it has to be for them first.
Mm.
Because just as a little aside, I once had a client who did the photos for her husband, and when she gave them to him, his reaction wasn't what she thought it was going to be. He just kind of was like, oh, that's nice.
Mm.
And she was devastated because she looked amazing. She'd gone through significant trouble. She actually had flown to me from somewhere else. We shopped for the outfits, we got her all ready. And then when he saw them and he wasn't like, oh, and it wasn't the reaction that she visualized him having, it then made her feel bad about herself.
This is so
And then,
important. This is actually quite amazing because it's more, right? It's how I feel inside myself. Yeah. And it highlights, and you want to highlight that actually it's for you. Yeah. The photos is not, it's almost like it's not an image that you present to other people, but it's more how you feel inside yourself. And that's what's really important in your work, huh?
yeah, it's so important to me to know that the woman is doing it for herself.
So
Because after that happened, that lady, I was so proud of her. She called me and she tells me what happens. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, what a jerk. And then she was like, you know what? take those pictures and put them on the internet. I look amazing. I feel so good. Other people should feel this good. And I did, and they were there forever. I don't think they're still on my website, but they were there for a really long time. And she felt so good about herself in the pictures, and she felt so good about the fact that she was there and other people could see it. And I was like, hey, this is a step that she needed to take to
Yeah,
feel seen because she wasn't feeling seen at home.
beautiful. And it kind of proved it. Yeah. So I wonder if we can talk about the authenticity piece, knowing that it's a tricky subject, right? Because we want to put the best, right? And as you say, right, you just choose the best angles, yeah, and best positions. And at the
Right.
same time, what about authenticity? Because, like, how do they relate? Yeah, because now with social media, we all think that other people have the most amazing lives, huh? And in reality, it's not like that. And so the photos like sometimes tend to present the best of ourselves and not how we really are. So I wonder what's, yeah.
I feel like that's a really that's a really great question. So I personally, when I pull up Snapchat occasionally and I'm like, I wonder, and I click on the filter with the big lips and the cheeks and the big eyes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't use
It's
Snapchat,
like,
but I can imagine.
okay, it's very dramatic. And I'm like, do I like, would I look better like this? Like, is this? And there are people who look like that because they go to do the things. And I am all for doing the things. If you feel better with Botox, if you feel better with filler, if you feel better with your lips injected, that's fine. Like, I know amazing people who do those services, and it's like they are giving a gift to the people that need them. But I think doing any of that, when I say be authentic, if you want to settle into your wrinkles, then that's your journey and you get to do that. And but if you also want to present the very best side of yourself and do work on yourself and change or enhance or preserve, whatever way you want to look at it, your appearance, I think that gets to be you too. Like, you get to choose how we're aging. Some people are aging gracefully. I think that I'm walking a half decent, happy line of it. I do focus on skincare and I do spend a significant amount of my time at the salon. Like, I love that. I will probably never be the gray haired lady. But at the same time, my aunt, my favorite aunt, passed away when I wasn't 20 yet. And I always remember she had the best lines around her eyes when she would laugh. And you have amazing eye, you have the same face, like your face just lights up. And so I would never, like, if when I get those, if they show up in that way, I have other things going on, I just don't have those. I don't think I would want to take those away. Like, I wouldn't want to work on those because to me, she was the kindest, sweetest person, and her whole face smiled. Your whole face smiles. It's making me happy.
Ah.
But so when she smiled and her whole face would smile, that was her. And like, that's what I remember. So to me, it will be authentic when my face gets crinkly around the eyes and my whole face smiles when I do it.
It's like something when you talk now, I feel quite, I don't know, emotional. There's quite a lot of, as you describe your aunt, huh? There's this beauty. And it's like when we look all smooth, huh? And some people might choose that. But when the emotion is there, huh? The human emotion, it actually leaves a mark on our faces. And that's what I see. The older we become, the more our faces are marked. Yeah. And you feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty amazing. And even the other day, so just as an example, my great aunt, she'll be 95 in December, and she is my favorite person. Like, she's just incredible. And I wish everybody got to know her because she's so funny and witty and kind and caring. And I wish that I could be like her when I grow up. Like, I strive to be like her
Love
as and so I can't not take a picture with her every time I see her because I keep looking to see if there's parts of me that look like her. And I went to visit, she lives about 7 hours from me. So I went to visit the other day and her daughter was there and she just had these like just huge blue eyes and she let her hair go gray and she had it like it was just in a messy ponytail. And I was like, her face is absolutely beautiful. But if I had told her that, she would be like, I don't know. But just she wasn't making any apologies for her appearance at all and had no reason to. She was absolutely beautiful, but she also wasn't doing anything to change her appearance or the things that people do. And I'm not saying that I won't ever do them. I'm not saying I'll never get Botox, I'll never get filler. I don't know. I've lost about 30 pounds in the last couple of months, and I can see changes in my face. And I'm like, maybe we'll see. But I think being authentic doesn't mean just choosing to age gracefully. I think it means you do what feels good to you. And if being completely smooth or getting better boobs as you age or having liposuction or whatever way you want to alter your body or not alter your body or
Yeah.
present yourself to the world, I think that's unique to you. And I think you make those decisions based on your life experience.
But also,
I
like as you talk, right, as you remember your aunt, is there something different, right? It's not what she looks like. It's not the like it's almost like it's a different quality. And I guess that's what I teach women, that radiance actually comes from within. And then what we look like is not as important because that light that comes, that's what brings beauty. And then it doesn't matter what we look like, our shape, age, size. It's that human spirit, that feminine radiance that comes through the body and the face, that would become so attractive. And the thing is, I see it time and time again that actually men appreciate it so much, but women somehow don't. And it sounds like almost like when you talk about your aunt, right? If you could take a photo of her in that moment and actually show her that's the radiance that comes through, that's so important.
absolutely. It just, I don't know, Roald Dahl, the author, when he would say that sunshine comes out of your face. And that's really what happens. Like you can't be miserable and be beautiful at the same time. Like you can have nice features.
That's beautiful.
you just, you just
But
can't.
and it's more estate, right? It's rather than, and what I hear, right, when women come to you, you prepare them, it's more changing their state. Because when we're relaxed and sunshine comes out of us, we become beautiful. But when we're
Absolutely.
miserable and stressed and right, then
My favorite, so clients always, this is funny. So there is a photographer who is, I think she's from Australia. She might have been from New Zealand. Her name is Sue Bryce. She does portraits. And so I did a class with her a long time ago online. And she would say, I don't understand why women buy pictures of, why people take pictures of women's butts. And I'm like, that's my number one, that's what people want. Like, if I don't deliver a great like bum shot, clients are not happy. Because you don't see it and they don't appreciate it. And if they have a little
thinking
tight
of
bum, they're
thinking
like,
about
I
my
want to
butt
see,
right now. It's like I don't actually know what my butt looks like. Yeah.
right? So if like they want to see it, and like if you photograph it in good light, it looks good. So they want that. It's a thing that they want. But the other thing that they love, and they don't love it first. Like when we go through the pictures, they're always like, oh, the first time they see this picture. But it's always the picture where they're in like an outrageous laugh. Like they're just laughing and they've got their head thrown back and their mouth is open and like their belly's probably relaxed because they're laughing. And they're like, oh, I don't like that. And then we go back through again. And by the end of the thing, their like favorite picture is the one where they like have their whole face is involved. And I'm like,
Love
yes.
those photos.
Yeah, I'm like, this is because your whole face now is involved in you being happy. Like we can all be cute and do the thing and over the shoulder, but like you in that moment, we're having an amazing time. And the funny thing about that is that as we're doing the photos, when people are looking through, I will say things as we're going through. And people can repeat back to me exactly what I was saying for each photo as I was taking it. And it's like, it had nothing to do with how they felt about having their picture taken. It had all to do with how I was making them feel in that moment. So if I was detached or not interested or was rushing them, they would not be having the same experience. But when I am reinforcing that they look beautiful and that they have an amazing neckline. This is my favorite part of the human body. And so when I tell people they have an amazing neck, they're like, nobody's ever told me that before. And suddenly,
Beautiful. And they take it in, huh? Like a bookmark.
yeah, they like internalize that. It's really powerful. It's like, I feel like a little
I
bit
want my
like,
photos taken now. I'm sure there are things about my body that I don't see.
absolutely. And like, I am a plus size woman. I have been my entire life, and it took a lot for me to get to the point where I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, I am good enough. This is me. And I'm about to go to Mexico, and I'm going with like a huge group of people. There are hundreds of us going, and I ordered bathing suits, and they came, and some fit and some didn't. And I was like, okay, old me, 10 years ago me, would have said, oh, I need to fix this. I'm not good enough. I need to like be on a big severe diet for the next 3 weeks, which ultimately is not going to go well. And I'm going to beat myself up about the bathing suits. Today, me tried on the bathing suit. They came yesterday. So I tried it on and I was like, oh, this fits. Okay, great. And I took a picture. I sent my friend and I was like, this is a good one. And then I put the other one on and it felt like I was trying to like fit a sausage back inside a casing. It just wasn't going. It was so bad. And I was like, okay, so that's not for me. Like, that's not for me for right now, but it's really pretty. I'm going to keep it. And if it ever fits, that's great. I'm on a journey. We'll see where we go. But I'm not going to tie my excitement about the trip or how I feel about myself to whether or not I got inside this strange spandex type contraption for this trip I'm going on.
This is so
Because
cool.
whether I fit in the suit or not, it doesn't affect it shouldn't affect how I feel about myself. And there was another cart filled up with bathing suits today that might work better. I don't know. But like we can't spend our lifetime tying our worth and our emotions and how we feel to anything external.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So I wonder, like I really want to take photo. Like now, I want to have a photographer because I usually do the professional ones. But actually, it will be so cool. Um, but if you connect to yourself now, what would be your message to women who are feeling like, I'm not sure, right? I'm aging. I'm not feeling so good about myself. What can you tell them from all your experience being with women?
I think the way that you are right now, it's only going to last for right now. And we don't know what's coming tomorrow. And aging is a privilege that is denied to so many people. And I'm going to link back to my aunt again because she was only 37 when she passed away. She had a whole big life to live. And I would hate to think that she had wasted any minutes of those 37 years worried about how she looked.
Mm.
And she put so much love and kindness out into the world that there are so many stories about how amazing she was that I don't think that as women or men, like just as people, like as humans, we get so tied up in like worrying about what we look like, what we're wearing, what we're driving. Is our house clean enough? Are we good enough? Did we bake the right cookies for the PTA thing? Just, we need to just stop, take a breath, and be like, I am good enough in this moment. And I just want to preserve and capture and document what this looks like. And because all of it could change tomorrow. We might not wake up tomorrow.
This is so
We
interesting. It's like we waste our time. We really waste our time judging ourselves, thinking how other people judging ourselves, and we waste time instead of loving where we are at, loving other people, bringing our beauty, our brilliance to the world.
absolutely, it's such a waste of time. And it's such a waste of
Waste.
energy. And just my favorite thing in life is volunteering. And like I'm super active in my community. I am super active with the volunteer organization that I work with. And I'm super busy. I run 2 businesses. So I would hate to hold myself back or stop myself from doing anything on account that I thought that I wasn't good enough to do with anything to do with my appearance or
Thank
It's
you.
just,
That's a beautiful message. Beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah. So, Amy, how can people find about you?
absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at Amy Donovan Boudoir. Also, I have a community on Facebook. It's just women supporting each other. It started with people I had taken photos of, and they just made a little community. And now there are people from all over who I've never met. And basically, we just support each other and build each other up. And everybody's on a different journey. Like some people are just trying to get through a divorce, and some people are just trying to raise their kids, and some people are on fertility journeys, and some people are on weight loss journeys, and some people are just trying to get out of bed. And I think as humans, women specifically, but humans in general, I think it's so important for us to just support the people that are around us.
Mm.
And if you are being a good supportive person and you're putting good energy out in the world and you're helpful and kind, and then that's going to get returned to you tenfold. And so my goal is to build a community of people who really just care about each other. And whether that's online or they ever get to meet in person, I think knowing that somebody cares about you is so powerful. And in turn, caring about somebody else gives people purpose. And I want to build a strong, successful community of people who feel that way.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amy. And
Thank
I'll put
you.
all the info in the show notes so you can learn more about Amy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. You are absolutely radiant, and I'm so glad I got to be here with you.